Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Slay the Princess, a meta horror VN with a genre twist. Is the princess worth slaying or saving? Let's find out. Slay the Princess is a short, multipath VN focused around one key question. Are you going to slay that princess? I'll start by saying I'm going to be intentionally vague to attempt to avoid spoilers, as going in completely blind is probably your best bet. The closest comparison for this game I'd make would be Bad End Theater, as each are similar in their structure and focus around multiple endings. Back on track, you're an unknown hero tasked by somewhat pushy narrator to complete an important task. Journey to a cabin, enter the basement, and slay the princess chained up there. While you as player are in control, the hero himself does have a voice to offer opinions or his specific thoughts, which may or may not influence you on how you go through each run. Ultimately, this game is about finding many different pathways leading from the same start. Simple decisions like whether or not you pick up a knife before going down to the basement can dramatically change where you end up, and there's over 24 possible mini endings you can hit based on the large number of choices you can make. After completing enough of those mini endings, the larger meta story reaches its conclusion, which in turn not only offers you more choices, but also can be influenced based on which of those endings you found. After finishing that, you're highly encouraged to play through the whole story again to see more of those mini endings and see how it affects the overall plot. It's worth knowing that while there are some meta elements, it's not nearly as pervasive as something like Bad End Theater, Doki Doki Literature Club, or You, Me, and Her. And the game is less about a meta commentary and more about how choices can alter or change a specific character's trajectory within a story. How you personally choose to engage with an essentially unsolvable situation is core here, meaning a lot of the endings you reach are personalized to your specific beliefs and attempts at problem solving. And without spoiling too much, the game has a strong theme around decisions made in your past being carried with you, a through line that persists even across the various runs. All of the game's massive amount of text is fully voiced, as well as having some fantastic black and white style art that evolves as the story progresses. And honestly, that's Slay the Princess, a choices matter horror mystery where you learn more about what's actually going on with each run, paired with some interesting commentary on how stories are told. So what do I like about Slay the Princess? Well, the layers of narration made for an incredibly engaging read. It reminded me quite a bit of the Stanley Parable, in that in both games, the narrator is an active character within the story. And this paired with being able to hear the hero's thoughts, made for a tale that sucked me in. Additionally, the variance in number of choices and possible outcomes is staggering, and each pathway was engaging enough that I wanted to see how many ways I could take the story and what new crazy thing I'd encounter. And finally, I just want to compliment the writing here, as overall it's fairly excellent, and it's particularly good when coming to the large variety of responses that you can make to various situations. When it comes to the bad, while I love that every line is voiced, I felt the quality of the voice acting was pretty mixed, even across individual actors and the various lines they were presenting. It was never bad, but some readings certainly felt off and pulled me a bit out of the story. Additionally, I really wish this game had a flowchart, even if it just unlocked after beating the full game for the first time. I'm used to visual novels with tons of choices and endings, including this, to better help someone find the ending that they missed, and not having it here is a bummer. And lastly, I do wish that the choices you made had a stronger impact on the final choice of the game. While a lot of those endings you hit do manifest, and I'm really trying to avoid spoilers here, it isn't nearly as interconnected as I thought it would be, which diminished some of the feelings that I had that this was my personal and unique story through this adventure. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Slay the Princess is an excellent narrative story around life, death, finality, personal choice, and how those choices shape and change us. It's a mix of gory horror, quiet thoughtfulness, and even small lines of hope that all interconnect in a bittersweet but memorable short story. If you enjoy visual novels that make you think existentially, Slay the Princess should be right up your alley. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played or even heard of Slay the Princess, do you enjoy these types of thoughtful, meta-bending stories? Please let me know in the comments, but regardless, go out there and give Slay the Princess a look.